Hey guys, and welcome back. If you hate reading patch notes, well, you're in luck. We happen to go over all the patch notes to try and keep you up to date with what's going on in Dead by Daylight. Now, before we begin, just in case you guys want to catch us live, we do stream usually Thursdays through Sundays and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Parklis. So why don't you come on by and, say hey, ask me some questions. I don't mind. Well, first off, we're going to jump right in and go over the Chapter 18 changes, and then we're going to take a look at this Bloodlust experiment that's going on. But first, in the PTB for Chapter 18, it's been over a week since Chapter 18 hit the player test build, and they've prepared some changes based on the feedback that they've received. They would like to make these changes clear before the chapter releases so that we can make an informed decision about the purchase. As the release approaches, their time to make these changes are limited. As a result, some of the intended changes will arrive in future updates, and we'll let you know when those happen. So please note that the changes listed below are tentative, their release date and exact details are subject to change. So on release, the twins made the map-wide sound when Victor is released clearer. After being attached to a survivor for 45 seconds, Charlotte will see Victor's aura and be able to recall him. Now, sometimes a survivor would keep Victor on their back to prevent the killer from using their power. This way there is a great risk to do so, and the killer has the ability to forcefully regain their power after some time. They replaced the spinning top add-on effect. This add-on will now cause survivors to drop their items when pounced on by Victor, much like Franklin's demise. Also, they increase Victor's movement speed while charging a pounce and increase the amount of time it takes to reach that movement speed. Due to the slow movement speed while pouncing, hitting a survivor with Victor while they are around a small enough loop or object could be very difficult. These two changes will cause you to lose less distance while charging your pounce, making it easier to use in those situations. Now, there is a perk change that's coming up on release, Coup de Grace. It reduced the lunge increase from 60, 80, and 100% all the way down to 20, 50, and 60%. So the values of Coup de Grace on the PTB were higher than anticipated. They'll be reducing them in a more reasonable level. Yeah, that 100% lunge increase was pretty nutty. So I'm glad they're bringing it down. So in the future updates and hotfixes, the twins, Victor will be able to interact with lockers and hold a survivor inside for a short amount of time. If Charlotte interacts with the locker in time, she will grab the survivor. If the survivor is not grabbed out of the locker in time, they will break free, killing Victor in the process. During the PTB, survivors realize that they can jump in a locker to avoid Victor since he is unable to search lockers. To prevent this, we'll be giving Victor a unique interaction with lockers. This will take some animation work, however, so this will not be ready on the initial release. So that's a good way that they figured out on a way that people were trying to counter the Victor-Charlotte combination. Much like Myers, jump in a locker. Well, now Victor can keep you there, so keep that in mind. Adding a delay to the exit gate blocker when a survivor is downed with Victor on their back. Currently, the exit gate blocker disappears immediately if a survivor with Victor on their back is downed. This allows them to crawl out before Charlotte can finish wiping her weapon. This delay ensures that the survivors can be picked up before the blocker disappears, much like it was originally intended. So we'll see how that plays out in a future update. Also, a perk that's being changed is Appraisal. The speed bonus no longer applies to unlocking a chest, but only rummaging through it. So that's going to really change how it's going to be played. Appraisal, opening the chest, and rummaging through it with that speed boost was really nice. Plus you add in perks like Pharmacy and Plunder's Instinct. It was really fun. We'll see how this change is going to affect it, but they're also changing that for Appraisal, each chest can only be rummaged once per survivor. So apparently people were getting multiple rummages. I never noticed, so we'll see. This change prevents someone from rummaging the same chest multiple times, creating a large pile of items. We want to encourage people to move around the map and rummage different chests. The overall number of times you can rummage is unchanged. So again, they want to reiterate that these changes are tentative. The exact details and times for these changes may vary from the list above. They hope that these changes address any concerns that we may have had, and they can't wait for us to get our hands on Chapter 18. Once again, once these future updates and hotfixes come out, we'll be here to let you know all the details. Now moving on to the second thing that they announced today, that they're going to do a Bloodlust experiment. What does that mean? Well, this weekend, November 20th through the 23rd, Bloodlust will temporarily be disabled on the live version. This is not on the PTB. They're throwing this out live to us. So why? Bloodlust was originally introduced as a means to help the killer catch up to survivors at strong window loops. At the time, these loops were safe enough that the survivors would gain a significant amount of distance each time they vaulted the window, making it impossible for the killer to catch them. Since then, we have made great strides in identifying these loops and tweaking them to avoid those situations. As a result, Bloodlust has become a contentious mechanic where many believe it's no longer necessary. In order to better understand the effect of Bloodlust has on the game in 2020, we will be disabling the mechanic on PC and consoles for the course of this weekend. This will allow us to gather feedback and data on Bloodlust and see what kind of effect it has on matches in real-world scenario. When, again, this is going to be November 20th, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's when it's going to be disabled, so it's already been disabled by the time this video releases. And they're going to re-enable it November 23rd, again at 11 a.m. Eastern. That's when they're going to re-enable Bloodlust. Disclaimer: this test only disables the Bloodlust mechanic. References to Bloodlust will still appear in the game, and Beast of Prey will not activate as a result. They would like to stress that this experiment is purely to gather data. No further plans for Bloodlust are set in stone at this time. Now, what does that mean for killers? Well, you don't get that increase in speed boost after 15, 30 seconds. You don't get Bloodlust 1, don't get Bloodlust 2, you won't get Bloodlust 3. So, Huntresses can be looped. People who really need Bloodlust, like a lot of the M1 killers, trappers, you're going to be at a disadvantage. Newer killers, newer players who are playing killers who are going to have a hard time against more seasoned survivors. Let me put it this way, guys. In my opinion, Bloodlust 1 is necessary. 2 and 3, not so much. Bloodlust 1 should remain in the game as its current state. They could tweak the numbers, but I don't see it needs to get higher than Bloodlust 1. That's kind of helping the killer, saying, okay, well, you're kind of getting ran around and you're supposed to be the power role, so let's give you a little boost of power. 2 and 3, no one's ever really been a huge fan of. Plus, if you need 2 and 3 to down a survivor, you're doing something wrong as a killer. And if you need help, just ask any of the killers. They're more than happy to help you figure out how to end that chase quicker. Because you're supposed to be getting a hit after 15 seconds of the chase starting. If you're not getting that hit, then you really need to reevaluate how you're playing the killer. So there's plenty of tricks and tips out there. It's super easy to find, but we'll see how this weekend goes. If you guys agree or disagree, leave some comments down there. Also, if you like what you see, hit that like button. If you want to see more, please hit that subscribe button. You can hit the notifications if you want. You guys know how YouTube works. It would really help out the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit here, and we're going to try and keep you up to date with all of the patches and events that goes on in Dead by Daylight. So remember, guys, if nobody told you already, we love you, and stay safe out there in the fog.